If you're a surfer on the internet, you may have heard of the Shizunami Surf Stadium. It's the wave pool in Japan that is supposed to be as good as, or maybe better than, the Waco wave pool. But did you know that it's actually not that hard to get to once you're actually in Japan, and it's actually really easy to stay there, and it's probably going to cost you about half of what it would cost you to go to the wave pool in Texas. I actually tried 3 times to go to the wave pool in Texas, but every time I tried, somebody in my family either got really sick, injured, or the weather in Denver, where I had to get a connecting flight, thwarted me with random crazy snowstorms that socked in the city for days. But I did easily go to the wave pool in Japan, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps so you know what to expect and how to do it. I'll also give you some pro tips on where to stay, how to get there, and what to eat, so it'll make your journey to the Japanese wave pool a whole lot easier. And if you get there, this could be you. Just kidding, that will never be you. No matter how many times you go to the wave pool, that's actually an up-and-coming pro skate and surf kid from Malibu who is doing some insane stuff during his private sessions. His presence actually taught me something about the wave pool, as well as Japanese and American cultural differences that I'll talk about later in this video. Without further ado, let's jump right into the steps. First of all, I'm going to assume you can get yourself to Japan and into a Tokyo hotel on your own. I would suggest getting there and giving yourself a couple days to adjust to the time zone difference if you're coming from the United States, because it can be really, really rough. If you're coming from Australia, whatever, screw you. During your stay in Tokyo, get acclimated and also make your way to a JR train station and find a ticket window where you can buy Shinkansen tickets. If you've never been to Japan before and you don't know how all the ticket machines work in the stations, don't fret, just go to a green ticket window line. You will see plenty of other tourists in line for the green ticket window, and talk to a station agent to help you get your tickets. You want to get a JR Shinkansen ticket to JR Shizuoka. If you've been to Japan before, you can of course use the ticket machines. They do also operate in English, but if this is your first time, please don't even bother trying, because especially if you're carrying a bunch of luggage or you're actually trying to carry your own surfboards on this train, you definitely want to talk to a station agent and figure out what you actually need to do, because you might need to pay for extra luggage space for your shortboards. By the way, here's a pro tip. There is a service in Japan called Kuroneko, or Black Cat, and that is a courier service that will take your luggage or whatever, like a surfboard, and deliver it clear across Japan for you to whatever business or hotel you want to send it to, and it's relatively inexpensive. And in typical Japanese fashion, it's extremely reliable. So if you are bringing your own surfboards, you could send them by courier to your hotel right by the wave stadium, or you could try to bring them on the train with you. Personally, I didn't want to bring a surfboard with me on an airline and then have to deal with all this stuff, so I just rented a board from the surf stadium. If you are going to do the same thing, I highly recommend, this is a pro tip, you go to the website and look at the boards and make sure there's a board or two that you think would be a good fit for you, and figure out what kinds of fins those boards use, and then bring your own fins. I rented boards for my sessions when I went to the surf stadium, and they had an okay selection of boards, but they had a very, very tiny selection of fins. The only set of medium thruster fins that would fit the board that I wanted to rent had massive damage to one of the fins. They were like super cracked at the tip. So I wasn't super stoked on that. And if I had known that they just really don't have many fins, I would have just brought my own, because that doesn't take up much space in the luggage. So if you're going to rent there, they make it really easy to reserve via email. Just go and look at their catalog online, tell them what board you want, and they will have it ready for you. They even wax it and have it totally prepped for you when you show up. And just to be really clear and honest here, I don't think the fins make that much difference for me, because I'm too big of a kook. But if you're really good at surfing and your fin selection really matters to you, you should bring your own fins. When you travel from Tokyo to JR Shizuoka on the Shinkansen, make sure that you look carefully at your tickets and that you get on the correct train. If you get on one of the incorrect Shinkansen, you might end up on one that skips JR Shizuoka. So remember that you are trying to get on one specific Shinkansen train. You will probably have a reserved ticket for a specific spot on that train, and it's going to be a Kodama type Shinkansen. Do not get on a different type because those will be really fast and they will quickly blow by the station you actually need to get out at. At JR Shizuoka Station, you are going to exit your train and make your way to the north exit. On your way out of the station, stop at any bathroom that you want to stop at because you're about to get on the bus for about 90 minutes. And you probably don't want to have to use the bathroom on a bus because if I remember correctly, there was no bathroom on the bus. And I'm sure your fellow travelers will not appreciate it if you try to use the bathroom on the bus when there is no bathroom. This isn't Germany after all. You're looking for bus stop number 14, which is a little bit away from the cluster of the other bus stops. And when you walk over there, you might start feeling like maybe you're in the wrong place because nobody else is waiting for that bus. But don't worry, you're okay. There's going to be a bus coming at least every 30 minutes. You are looking for the limited express Shizuoka Sagara line or Shizutetsu Just line. So when you get to that sign that says 14, you can look at it and it should say that. You will be riding that bus to the Shizunami Kaigan Iriguchi. And I strongly suggest you write that down. I'm going to have all this linked down below as well, but you should write that down on a piece of paper or have it on your phone so that when a bus pulls up, you're going to be able to show the driver, this is where I want to go, and they will be able to say, yes, you're good, or no, get off my bus. They'll do it super, super politely though. And seriously, if they see you and you look like a surfer, they're probably going to know where you're going and you're going to be okay. There's plenty of luggage space on the bus, so if you are bringing your own surfboards, there is storage under the bus for everybody's suitcases and probably your surfboards. And I'm assuming your surfboards are in a really good impact resistant case, otherwise you're a moron. Once you're on the bus, enjoy the ride and enjoy watching the extreme dedication of your bus driver. These drivers are super focused on safety and you will see them doing some very interesting things at every stop sign, at every stoplight. If you go midweek like I did, there will almost definitely be plenty of room for you on the bus and for your surfboards in the luggage compartment. When I was riding the bus to and from the stadium, I was almost alone on these buses. There were maybe 2 or 3 other people on the bus with me at any given time. For the next 90 minutes, take a nap, listen to your favorite podcast, and the driver will most likely wake you up if you happen to fall asleep and let you know that you should be getting out so that you can go surfing. Now, when you get off the bus, you're going to need to pay the fare. You can pay for the fare in cash or you could use your phone and tap to pay. But if you want to use tap to pay, here's a pro tip. Make sure you set up a tap to pay card before you get to Japan. I go to Japan fairly frequently, and on one of my previous trips, my wife and I discovered that, once you're in Japan, you can't set up a Suica card, which is one of the most popular cards that you can use to tap to pay. You can see the option to do it in your Apple Wallet, but you can't successfully fund it if you're already in Japan. For some reason, we couldn't add our credit cards to the account and connect them when we were in Japan. So the following year, when we went back to Japan, before we got on the plane, before we left for our trip, we set it up at home and added the credit card to the Suica card in our Apple Wallets or Apple Pay, whatever it's called. And then once we got to Japan, it was easy peasy. We could always tap to pay. So when you're going anywhere in Japan, you're going to be using public transit probably quite often. So having that tap to pay can be super handy. And once you're in Japan, assuming you have internet access, which is maybe another pro tip, get yourself an eSIM card that works in Japan. With that internet access, you can just easily reload money onto your tap to pay Suica card, and then you can get around everywhere super easy. If you have to buy tickets with cash for public transit, it's not hard, but it's just a little more annoying because you have to stare at these maps of stations of where you're trying to go and where you're starting from, and then you need to put in the money and get the ticket and do all that. And when it's time to get out at your destination station, you just tap on the turnstile and the correct fare gets taken off of your card and you're good to go. It's way easier than trying to do cash on public transit. Now you might be wondering how much bus fare is from JR Shizuoka to the surf stadium, and honestly, I can't find my receipts. I don't remember. It's not that much, and frankly, it doesn't matter. You flew all the way to Japan. You booked everything to get there. It's not that much. It was like maybe $20. I think it was probably less. It might have been like 10, 8. Who knows? It doesn't matter. Just get on the bus. So you will get out at a stop called Shizunami Kaigan Iriguchi. It feels like it's in the middle of nowhere, and it kind of is. You're going to walk to the street, you're going to turn left, and you're just going to walk several blocks down. You're going to feel like you're walking in the middle of nowhere. You are no longer in Tokyo. This is like suburbs or exurbs. There's not as much, nothing close to as much hustle and bustle as in Tokyo. Keep walking, and then you will see the surf stadium on your left-hand side. If you're staying at the Swing Beach Resort, which is actually a pro tip that we'll talk about in a second, your accommodations are just to the right, about another half block away. So now let's talk about the pro tip with the Swing Beach Resort. The Swing Beach Resort is a hotel that I believe is more geared towards golfers, but they have partnered with the surf stadium to try to attract surfers like you. And it's honestly a pretty darn good deal. I'm filming this in April of 2025, and they have an offer right now where you get one night accommodation at the hotel for 23,000 yen, but that also includes 2 surf sessions of intermediate or advanced difficulty, and you get a meal voucher for the on-site restaurant at the surf stadium, which they say is worth 1,500 yen. The total package price is 23,000 yen, and the US dollar is roughly $1 to 150 yen. So if you do the math, you're getting one night at the hotel plus 2 surf sessions plus a meal for about $150. When I went last year in 2024, I booked 2 of these so that I had 2 nights and 4 sessions total, and it was totally worth it. To do a quick price comparison, just look at how much it costs to book a session, a single session at the Waco wave pool. It's going to be at least $150 generally, if not more, just for the surf session. That doesn't include your hotel, that doesn't include any free food, it probably doesn't even include tax. So you can get 2 surf sessions plus a hotel room, which I will show you. Oh, and at the hotel, you get free breakfast every morning, which is also super cool. And we're not talking about some like super lame continental breakfast. It's like a full-on Japanese buffet breakfast with traditional Japanese food. So hopefully you aren't some sort of kook who won't eat international food when you're traveling internationally. In this buffet, you get to try real authentic Japanese food. It's not super gross. They've got something that you can probably eat. They've definitely got white rice, and if you can't handle white rice, I don't know what to tell you. I've now talked up the hotel a lot, so I just want to make sure you know what you're getting into because it's not actually a 5-star resort. It's nothing close to that. So let me take you on a little tour. So this room has a computer for you to use, and then from here you can actually see the swimming pool. It is obviously heated because there's a lot of steam, and there's plenty of manga for you to read here. So this is the nicest thing that I saw in this hotel, and it's the workroom. They call it the surf shack. Yeah, nobody in here, so super nice spot. Got a giant TV, decorative surfboard, all this workspace, chill space, lounge space. Let's see, there's plugs, outlets, everything you need to just work. And you have a view out this window here of the swimming pool, which I think is only open in the summer. Right now it's green and gross because nobody's using it, you can see, but it's probably really nice in the summer. Coffee, tea, and all the garbage bins you need to sort things out because this is Japan. Is this candy? Yes, there's candy. Yes. Oh, it tastes like fish. Just kidding. It doesn't taste like fish. Candy in Japan, well, usually doesn't taste like fish. You can tell that it's kind of an older style place. It's a little dated. It's got tennis courts out here that look like they could use a little bit of help. And it also has some virtual golf inside. They've got really good breakfasts with all kinds of Japanese things and lots of good white rice. And also there's an indoor swimming pool, which you cannot use if you have tattoos. So that's just a thing in Japan. A lot of places you can't go in if you have tattoos. But that's not the case at the Shizunami wave pool, so don't worry about that. You can go use the wave pool even if you have tattoos. So that's the hotel. That's where I stayed. It worked out fine. I didn't die. Everything was reasonably clean. It wasn't the best hotel I've ever stayed at, but it's literally right across the street from the surf stadium, and it gives you access to everything on the cheap, plus good food for breakfast. So what more could you want? So on your day of arrival, I definitely suggest you get checked into the hotel, and then once you've got all your luggage and everything sorted, walk across the street to the surf stadium, and you can go upstairs to the restaurant if you've got time, use your certificate for a free meal, and just watch the other surfers, watch the wave pool working, and just get an idea of the whole setup. I also recommend that you go downstairs and check in with the front desk, say hi, and go through all the formalities so that you understand the logistics of actually riding your waves during your session. Which brings us to the culmination of your journey. You are at the front desk, and right now you should expect a language barrier. The staff at the front desk may or may not speak much English. The ones that I spoke with really didn't speak too much, and they appreciated that I spoke kindergarten level Japanese. When you get there, have your reservation or confirmation stuff all set to go so you can just show it to them and they can check you in. You'll be given English instructions on a sheet that's been laminated, and it is two-sided with lots of information, so make sure you read all of it. The friendly staff will also direct you to the rental corner if you reserved a board ahead of time, and they will get you all set up with the board that you reserved, and it will probably be waxed for you, and if it's not waxed, they will offer to wax it for you. And I don't have a picture or video of this, but they did something really interesting when they were waxing, and the block of wax turned out like beautifully while they were using it. So keep your eyes open for that. The staff at the front desk will also give you a wristband that lets you scan into the wave pool area and also into the locker room. About 30 minutes before your session, you should definitely head into the locker room and get changed, get into your wetsuit, and get ready to roll. Do you want to see what the locker room looks like? All right. Let me show you. So the bathrooms and locker rooms are super nice. Come in, there are toilets to your left, so easy peasy. You'll get to a rug. It says please take your shoes off. It's in English, so I think that means you. And then you got lockers. These lockers are free. You just put your stuff in, turn the key, and then you keep that wristband on you. There's a wood over here, which is really nice, so when you stand on that, you put on your wetsuit, and I think it just helps keep the place a little drier. It's a really nice idea. Then you got clean showers, got a rack to hang your towels and wetsuit. Also, this thing is pretty interesting. I don't know what it is. When I translate it, it says it's a smoke vent, I guess air vent of some kind, so it provides, I guess, ventilation or something. Now that you're ready to go, you will get instructions from the safety guide who's going to be with you and your whole group in the pool. You'll also receive a numbered jersey, which will help everybody stay in order. And in case you didn't read the etiquette and safety guide that you were given at the front desk, there is no poaching of waves at all. Everybody has a wave that they're supposed to get, and there's no positioning yourself to try to catch somebody's leftovers. You are just going to get in an orderly single file line and get waves one by one. They will tell you how many waves are in each set, so depending on the size of your group, you can negotiate with your fellow surfers to figure out what order to go in. So for example, if there are 3 waves per set and you've got 12 people, that means you've got 4 groups. And within each of those 4 groups, you guys could say, hey, can I switch with you so that on the next one I get that wave and then you get this wave? That way within your group of 3, you guys could mix things up a little bit if you want to. Once you get into the wave pool and are ready to catch a wave, it's a little bit weird. The safety guide is going to help you position yourself and tell you when to paddle and what direction to face when you're paddling. And then you're going to hear a thumping sound that sounds like something out of a Japanese horror movie. At some point, your safety guide will say, go, 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 and that's when you paddle. I'm definitely not an amazing surfer, and I'm used to surfing on pretty crappy but punchy waves, but I was still able to catch every wave that came my way, except for a couple when the wave machine was actually overheating and wasn't giving enough push, and I'll talk about this later. Once you're up on the wave, it's also kind of weird. Just keep heading for the wall, and you'll never actually hit the wall, but if you don't head for the wall, you fall behind. That's pretty much all the advice I can give because I do not rip. If you're a good surfer who does rip, I have no useful advice for you. Just keep doing whatever it is you do. For kooks like me, they do offer video coaching, and it's all right. They set up an iPad and film you, and you have a coach who will give you some tips and pointers after each one of your rides or rides. Coaching was reasonably priced. I can't remember how much, but it wasn't that bad. But if you don't want to pay for it, you can also just pay 1,000 yen, which is less than $10, to use one of their tripods to set up your phone or a camera to film yourself. Whether you choose the coaching or you just video yourself, be prepared to be horrified, because there is really nothing worse than seeing yourself surf for the first time. Unless, of course, you rip, in which case it might be awesome for you. I did all of my sessions during the weekdays, and I highly recommend that if you can swing it. There are just fewer people who can attend sessions in the middle of the week, so you end up with fewer people in your group, which means a lot less pressure for you. I had one session where there were only 4 of us surfing. I was super stoked, but I want to give you a pro tip here so you don't burn your energy. I thought, okay, there's only 4 of us and we have 1 hour in the wave pool. We're gonna get so many waves. So after every one of my waves, I would get out and hustle back. So I was just doing laps as fast as I could, thinking we are gonna get like 20 waves because of this. But that is not how it works. Each session is 9 or 10 waves per person. And if there are fewer people in your group, they're not gonna give you extra waves. They just give you the 9 or 10 waves per person, and that's it. So in our group, we finished after 35 minutes because we're all hustling and hustling and hustling. So at the end of the session, we got the same number of waves, but we were really, really tired. At least I was. I was huffing and puffing and so full of stoke, but definitely tired, and I shouldn't have put in that much effort. So don't waste your breath doing faster laps. Just conserve your energy and save it for the waves. Now you might be asking, why don't they give you more waves? That's so unfair. Well, to answer this, you need to remember that a wave pool is not quite the same as making waves in your bathtub. They're making a lot of water move. And you remember that pro kid that I showed you earlier in the video? Well, he had a bunch of private 2-hour sessions during the time I was there, and I got to see some of them. He was riding all kinds of crazy custom waves, boosting airs, getting barreled. It was insane. But at one point, I saw a bunch of the employees running around with bags of ice to cool down the machinery that's on the backside of the wave pool. One of my sessions was scheduled for right after this private session where the wave pool machinery was overheating. So his session ended and my group got into the pool and we started trying to catch waves, and just a few minutes into the session, I started to miss waves and other people were missing waves, and it was like the waves were not catchable. The staff actually stopped the session because the wave pool was no longer able to generate enough push for us. They told us we might have to wait 30 minutes, and they were super apologetic and said that they would give us a free session as a result of this disturbance. So we all got out, and the kid and his dad were still poolside, and the dad yelled something to me like, "What, you guys are done already? Ha ha ha." And I yelled over at him, "You guys took all the waves, you broke the machine, you jerks. Leave some for us." In a joking way, obviously. And the dad was like, "Sure, blame the kid, real nice." Or something funnier. I don't really remember the full conversation. We were just laughing. It was all in good humor. A few moments later, one of the Japanese surfers in my group standing next to me asked me, "Is he your friend?" And I said, "No, I don't really know him," which was true because I didn't really know him. I had only spoken to him for a couple minutes at the hotel during breakfast. And the Japanese surfer gave me this really shocked, confused look, like, "You were just shouting at that stranger and you're both laughing?" I was reflecting on it later and realized how this is a massive cultural difference that you'll see between most of Japan and the United States. In the US, total strangers will often randomly joke and banter sarcastically with one another. This could be a cashier and a customer. It could be a cop with a passerby. It could be a teacher and a student. It could be 2 random people in an elevator if one has toilet paper hanging off the back of his shoe or off the back of his shirt. But this kind of banter between people who are not close friends basically doesn't happen in Japan, though it might occasionally happen in Osaka. So just be aware if you're trying to joke with people and rib them and tease them and they don't know you, it might come off the wrong way. It's not likely that it's going to get you into any big trouble because you're obviously not from Japan if you can't speak Japanese, so they'll probably give you the benefit of the doubt. But just know that you might make somebody uncomfortable if you try to be a little too American. And finally, I just want to point out that if you're going at any time besides summer, you're probably going to want to wear a wetsuit, so make sure to pack one that is appropriate for the temperature of the water and for the air. The Shizunami Surf Stadium website has this information front and center, so make sure you check that. And if you're planning several months into the future, make sure you ask them what kind of wetsuit to bring, just so you are prepared and not shivering and freezing. After your first session is over, you're probably going to want to eat, and you're probably not going to want to eat at the restaurant every single day for every possible meal, so you might want to just walk down the street because lucky for you, there's a supermarket and some other options nearby that you can check out, and you can do some window shopping at the car dealerships on the street. Check out this super dope surfmobile. Like a tiny little truck with a nice little camper. So just a short walk away from the surf stadium is Valor Supermarket and also a Sukiya. They're just a couple minutes walk, and also if you keep going, there is a 7-Eleven convenience store just up ahead, so you can get pretty much whatever you need on the cheap. So this actually is a Koko Ichibanya, and they have a lot of curries that are actually vegan friendly. They have a vegan friendly sauce, and they also have some other, like, I think it's beef free and milk free type sauces, which is important for me, and I'm gonna just give it a go. I've had it in Tokyo with the allergy free version, or not the allergy free, but the cow free version, and it was pretty good for me, so hopefully they have that here too. Overall, I really enjoyed my stay and my sessions. I'm glad to have tried a wave pool, and if I were a better surfer, I'd probably want to go more to really dial in my game. But I did feel like because you have a limited number of waves, there was a lot of pressure just to make sure you catch the wave. And then I needed to get up and figure out how to surf towards a wall, and I needed to figure out how to turn, and there were all kinds of balance issues there. I don't think I made massive improvements in my surf game in those couple days, but I did really enjoy surfing those waves and the overall experience. So if this is some part of your dream vacation to Japan, I hope this video helps you make it possible. I'll try to drop some helpful links in the description box down below to help you on your journey to the surf stadium. And I'll also include some links to YouTube channels that have good surfing content that I enjoy and find educational and entertaining. If this video helps you, please hit that like button, subscribe, and remember to keep it simple.